Hey beautiful souls, I'm Aurora Light, Joy Alchemist and Soul Embodiment Guide, and I'm in my new space, ready to give you my interpretation of the energy that's coming up for March 2021. And so first I just want to say, if you have also been feeling the itch to do something new, that you need to move, you need to switch careers, you feel like you need to have new adventures. A lot of us are feeling that way. Many of us are still cooped up with restrictions. But if you are feeling that itch for something new, you are not alone. There is a huge energetic push as we are moving into this time for fresh, for newness. And if we aren't prepared to take the aligned action guided by our highest self, we're gonna really feel an energy drop. The things that March really feels like to me, especially for those of us who are in the Northern Hemisphere, is the beginning signs of spring. But regardless of where you are, you do have an equinox. Spring or fall equinox is a point of balance, which is something that we would normally consider to be static, right? Something balanced is unmoving, but that's not actually the way balance works. Balance is a ever-shifting, ever-changing, sometimes precarious experience. When we talk about balancing or a balancing act, things are always shifting and changing. Think of a tightrope walker. If they're holding that pole, it's moving from side to side to counterbalance. This is an ever-evolving, shifting, changing experience. And so your balance that is coming in March is also going to have what seems almost like the opposite of what we would think of as balance, as being like a straight line, an energy of waves. And these waves are going to be moving us through periods where we feel like we have forward momentum, well, where we're sliding down the wave and it's very easy. And then there's other times where we feel like we are in that valley, right? Where we just need to rest, to integrate. And then it is more difficult to do anything, to get things done, where you're feeling like you have to expend more energy than you would like to do simple tasks. And then you're going to get to the crest of that wave and it's going to feel amazing, effortless, graceful. There might be some thrilling experiences, maybe even a little bit terrifying, depending on your perspective, as you pick up momentum and you head down that wave. And then we are going to repeat that cycle over and over again. And for some of us, it is going to be even in a single day, right? And I'm also getting this image of our life experience having different tracks of what is possible, and different areas of our life are going to be having waves in different cycles, which will feel for some chaotic and for some very synchronous. So this means that part of your life, perhaps relationships, you're having waves that feel like they're moving, hourly, and then there are bigger cycles like work, where you have waves that are happening over the course of several days, perhaps weeks. So we are going to be needing to come into presence. As always, this is a handy dandy thing to do, but checking in with you, honoring your energy, honoring what is, tuning in to see if it is the time to be putting a little extra energy in for that push just to make it up the crest of the hill, or if it's time to let go and just enjoy the ride, enjoy the momentum, integration time. It's going to be something that we will move through. We've been through worse before, but for some of us, it's going to feel like a continuation of energy that might seem chaotic. if we can't zoom out enough to see the patterns, to see the rhythms, to honor our cycles. So it becomes incredibly important to come into the body, as always, and allow the body to be the guide, right, of what is possible in the moments, in the now. So our body is the herald of our emotions. The body is also the holder of many emotions and traumas that have been unprocessed. So for those of us that are still holding unprocessed trauma, which could be any emotional experience that was too much for us to fully understand, process, and feel at that time, it's stored in our tissues. If we are unable to fully drop into the body and be present with how it feels and receive its messages, then this is going to feel chaotic and overwhelming because we won't be getting the information and the impulses. Your trauma is absolutely not your fault, and the healing, however, is still your responsibility. And responsibility, I just want to take as a word that means your ability to respond. So in order for us to be fully responsible and able to respond to the world, we need to take that responsibility for our embodiment, for our trauma, and move through that with support wherever you are drawn to receive it. Sometimes you just need to open up to ask to be brought the messages, the books, the podcasts, the opportunities, the people, the healers, the support systems. Ask for it. And if you're not willing to ask for it, ask for the openness to be willing to ask for it. We can start with baby steps. Because once we are able to move back into the body, back into the heart center, we can ask ourselves these questions of, where am I right now with my energy? What is my next right step? Where should I be focused right now? And allowing it to be moment by moment, day by day. And in order to navigate this uneven terrain of the waves of energy that will be coming through in March, I need to share with you a tip from my rave days. A tip from when I was going to a lot of parties, and I would sometimes be intoxicated to the point that walking seemed really difficult. However, I discovered that if you were to dance walk, which would be to walk while keeping a beat and keeping yourself moving at all times, you could walk and traverse from point A to point B with so much greater ease and so much greater flow because you were always moving. Your center of gravity would be a little bit lower. Your arms and legs would be out ready to counterbalance you. Just like that stick that we were thinking of that people sometimes hold while they are tightrope walking. But honestly, being able to dance walk through life serves us so greatly because no matter what uneven terrain is under our feet, we are able to continue moving, even if it's just to our own beat. So that is the energy. Last month it was all about the spiraling energy. The month before that it was very much about cocooning and then expanding out. Previous to that, in December, it was like go in to expand into the universe. This is the energy of waves. And it reminds me of birthing waves. As someone who has birthed a child and who is a doula, now I just consider myself an ascension doula, we have waves that are moving us through out of our place of rest and our comfort zone and into this whole new world that we are in right now. And within the waves, there are periods where there is push, right? And there's periods of rest and integration, a period to gather yourself. So we are still experiencing these cycles of what could be termed expansion, and some people would say contraction, but I really prefer integration. But that contraction of energy when you're coming into yourself is actually a beautiful gift. It is a time to gather your energy, to hold yourself close, to be in and of yourself instead of focused outwardly. So you're going to have both in this month of March. Time for rest and being into your own energy field, times that you're going to want to bring it forward and out into the world. And again, it is going to be like the waves, or perhaps a continuation of a theme that came in 2019, the roller coaster. We're still riding it, and I'm sorry, we're not getting off anytime soon. So another interesting theme that came through was reconciliation. And reconciliation is about coming back together. And this is going to be two different aspects of yourself that you have perhaps forsaken, perhaps had a fight with, perhaps banished, perhaps were fragmented off in this life or in other lives. So there is a pulling back and a meeting of the energies within us. And this is part of us stepping more fully into our multidimensionality as well. So we're pulling back all of the different fragments of ourselves that we had lost to be integrated. And so this is part of why you will be experiencing periods of needing to continue to rest and integrate, because you're processing a lot of information that is coming back to you. For some people, there may be reconciliation or a renewal of energies between people who have maybe previously fallen out of your life. You might see or hear from people that you have not heard from in some time. And I feel like it will most often feel like it's a chance reconciliation or meeting, perhaps, that the reconciliation is under your own terms. You get to choose how you do that, but it's like the universe is bringing you together into these spaces, into these opportunities where a reconciliation is possible. But it is mostly an internal thing, which brings me to my next R word of the theme, which would be recovery. And the recovery, again, refers multidimensionally to the recovering of past lives, past aspects of ourselves, but also the recovery of more stability within self. For many, many, many of us, the last few months and the last year has been really rough, and we are starting to get our sea legs. The roller coaster we are still going to be riding for a little while, but we're starting to become acclimated in some ways to these energy shifts. And we've also just gone through some of the more difficult expansions, at least for March. Traditionally as well, in many, many cultures, and again, I'm speaking especially into the Northern Hemisphere where I am at, because I'm feeling into the energetic waves of not only what I am going to be presented with, but many of the people that are in my field, in my life, my soul family, my clients. It's the energy of continuing to be rejuvenated and rebirthed in March with this equinox energy. This is the energy of spring. This is the energy of what typically starts to occur in this time when, for most of us, the light is coming back, right? There is the theme of Easter, of rebirth, renewal, resurrection, right? These things do bring us hope at the end of a long winter. These things do bring us hope as a collective when we do start to see signs of this spring coming in. And so, as all of my fellow Canadians know, when spring is approaching, for us it's not like, bam, spring is here, and it's not this like really straight upward trajectory back towards spring. Again, we get the waves. We're like, ooh, it's getting nicer. Ah, it's cold and snowy again. Ooh, it's getting nicer again. Oh no, a snowstorm. None of this is linear, my friends. But we are moving through the most interesting times. And I just want to invite you to take care of the body, this body, so you can be in it, so you can ask the questions of yourself. What do I need in this moment? Where am I now? What would be the most loving thing I can do for myself? And we will continue taking things moment by moment, breath by breath. When you are birthing a child, sometimes the experience is so overwhelming we completely forget what is actually occurring. And a mother needs to be reminded, you're having a baby. Focus on that. Focus on the end in sight while it's still being present in the moment. So as we navigate this, keep your eyes, keep your soul focused on where we are going, which is co-creating a new experience for humanity. And also continue to stay very present. And these two focuses of what is right here, right now, right in front of us, as well as keeping that eye on where we're going, will be our most direct way through this wavy, rocky, rolling path through March. I am sending you so much love. I am very grateful for you for being here, for being part of this collective shift here on the planet right now. And I just want to tell you, you're a badass and you're doing an amazing job. If you are still alive, you are killing it. You are meant to be here. You are doing the thing. Just take care of yourself. Have a beautiful rest of your day.